Shalom. Last thought about giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and Ezra Great Millstone. Citations, slow for let, is pushing this truth. Crossflow comes to earth, all faith, truth, and sincerity. I'm going to want to buy back in the game, not sitting. I'm just going to a quick sitting. Just about, how, on the times that we are in. And, excuse me. And how, let's start up from the top. And how, a lot of so-called people, a lot of people out here, don't know, the time or the season of what's going on around them. They just think everything, it's gonna be okay. Especially now we got the, they just opened up the shutdown had ended, but that don't mean things gonna get better. Things still is not gonna get better. Here in America, Babylon Great. Just because it seems like it's going to get better, don't mean it will. Yeah, these people out here are delusional. They're just still lost in the sauce. Especially you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites. Y'all lost in Babylon the Great. Y'all caught up to in this things in this world, not knowing what's about to come upon it. What's about to come upon America, Babylon the Great, is the great wrath and judgment of the Lord Yahweh Shai. And it's gonna catch a lot of people. It'll catch a lot of you people off guard because y'all not paying attention to what the times we in right now. Only the apostles and Elzebub Great Millstone, they had the truth of word of Lord Yahweh Shai, and had the spirit of Lord Yahweh Shai upon them. Knowing the time, they know what time it is. They know, hey, we in a time of having fun or partying, bullshitting, or this ain't the time of love and all that stuff right now. Excuse me, we in the time of matter of fact, I get it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start off Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So to everything there's a season, right? And a time to every purpose under the heaven. So it's a time for everything, right? So I'm not gonna go through all this, but I'm just trying to get to the point. So like I was saying, it's a time of love, right? So it's not a time of love, but it's Ecclesiastes 3:8. A time to love, and a time to hate, and a time of war and a time of peace. So that's a time for everything. So we in a time of love and happiness and all that right now. We in a time of hate and war. We in a time of peace and love. We in a time of hate and war, and that's what's going on. But like I said, a lot of people are still just naive too. Like, everything gonna be okay, and they think they just think everything is gonna get better in America, Babylon the Great, in the world, but it's not. It's gonna continue to get bad, worse. People out here, are just have no they have no type of remorse, I say, or no type of like I said, no type of love for real. It's mostly a lot of people out here in hate. Have a lot of hate, and a lot of people out here got bad energy, man. Energy ain't right. Like I said, a lot of people out here got demons on them, man. And if you're around and about, at times, or you going to, let's say, the store or whatever it may be, you can sense it, you can see it, Especially, you in the spirit, you can sense it, like, you feel it, like, yeah, these people out here just, they got bad energy, they ain't right, they spirit just off, right? And you gotta be mindful in these times. Me myself, first and foremost, to pay attention and be aware of your surroundings and people that you're around, and not be so naive and docile like a lot of people out here think. Everything's fine, and joking around, playing around, not knowing there's people out here that got demons on bad spirits, and things could happen. Things could pop off around you because of people just out here just you got people out here just in they desperate, they in need, they hungry, they envy or jealous you of what you have, and you gotta be careful not to gotta be mindful not to be so be mindful not to be so flashy around people too, because they'll want to take what you got, especially in these times. They ain't gonna care about what about none of they trying to survive. So you just gotta be mindful of the times that we're in. Me myself from always gotta be mindful of the times that we're in, and not be so like I say, careless and naive, especially like these women out here, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, like American Israelite women out here. The women out here are careless and naive, and they're delusional, man. They think everything is just still normal, everything's okay. It's really not. A lot of you women out here still, I don't need no man, and then we in the times where especially going forward, you're gonna need a man. Shoot, you're gonna need someone to be there for you and protect you in these times. Because if you ain't got that protection from a man, especially like for a man of the Lord that have the hedge of protection of the Lord Yahweh shine upon him, you're gonna be messed up out here. You're gonna be running to men out here that got a whole bunch of demons ready to devour you and do whatever to you and not care. You got spirits out here, that are made for vengeance, man. Scriptures go into that, bring judgment down upon you, upon you, excuse me, upon you proud women out here, man. There's some proudful women out here, and men too. But, and you proudful women out here, man, y'all gonna get it, man. Y'all talk all this, y'all talk a lot of crazy talk out your mouths, man, and not thinking that, the Lord Yahweh don't see or hear you, the things that you do or say, and don't think that, hey, you gonna get away with it. You ain't gonna get away with it. The Lord Yahweh is gonna bring that judgment down on you, and you're gonna come by way of crazy man, or whatever it may be, But hey, no, we not in the time of love. We in the time of hate and war right now. We're not in the time of love and peace. But go from there, because I ain't finna make this too long. It's Ephesians 5:15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise. So, like I said, the meaning of the Lord, Apostle Elzberg Ravenstone had truth of the word of the word of the word the Lord Yahweh Shai. They have the spirit of Lord Yahweh Shai upon them. And those that believe in Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna be aware and wise in the times that we're in, and not careless and naive. That hey, this ain't the time to be partying and bullshitting right now. This ain't the time for that. So I say, it's bad spirits out here. It's just it's like a lot of bad energy, man, and wickedness going on out here in this world, man. That hey, you gotta be mindful. Hey, we in a time of love and happiness and this and that, man. But like I said, going to the word circumspectly. Circum means around. Spectacly means a look. So be a mouth, look around. Look around. You be mindful what's going on around you, and not, like I said, not being naive. Not letting your guard down, basically. Especially not letting your spiritual guard down. Knowing knowing, hey, what's going on around you. Hey, this ain't the right place for me to be right now. Or pay attention. Listen to the spirit. Oh Lord, Yahweh Shai. And not, hey, you don't need to be going to this place or whatever it may be. You don't need to be around large crowds of people. Get away from that. So things can bad things can happen, especially in these times. Going to like large events and crowds and stuff like that ain't a good time to be doing that right now. So me myself first and foremost gotta be wise in these times, man. Gotta be mindful. Just pay attention to your surroundings. Keep your head on the swivel, keep your eyes, aware and alert, and your spirit alert, in these times. But go to Ephesians 5:16. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. So redeeming the time, so you gotta know what time it is. We in the time of the days are evil, man. Days are bad days, bad times. We need some not good times. These are times, like I say, man, it's a lot of people out here that got a lot of, like I say, demons and a lot of hate and envy, jealousy, and they don't care. It's gonna get worse than what you see. It ain't got to a crazy boiling point yet, but it's gonna get there. And once it gets there, it's it's gonna be all out chaos, man. In the streets of America, Babylon the Great, and the world. So, you kind of seeing things of it now, but it's gonna get there. It's gonna get to a point where point of return. Every man for themselves, type of mindset, going forward, in these times and going forward. But go from there to so I ain't gonna make this too long. So I'm gonna end off with I'm going to Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So the iniquity, the wickedness that's out here in this world right now, because of it, the love of many waxing cold. You don't see a lot of people being out here friendly like that. You see a lot of people just like they got bad energy. They looking at you funny, or say you say something to them, they gonna lash out at you. You might just say something simple. Or, you don't mean no harm by saying it, and they just lash out at you. I think I saw something, if I'm not mistaken. It was on I think I heard it on, I don't know, it was on the news. I can't remember if it was on the news or I saw it on Twitter. But I know I saw something. It might have been on TikTok, I forgot. But I think they said that somebody got mad because of, somebody said something to him. But it was like nothing crazy. It was just, I think I don't know, was it a restaurant or a store? I forgot. But the person said something to the person and they got mad and killed them. I forgot. I forgot what. But yeah, man. It was over something. It was about some food or not. Not. It was about some food or something. But I forgot what the whole situation was about for real. But yeah, the person got mad because the situation was about food or whatever it may be, and it killed them over it. So like I said, we in the times like people just. I said, man, they losing it, man. You might not meant to do something wrong, and they just kill you for it, or you didn't mean to say what you said, or it was something you say that really shouldn't be where your life gets taken. But like I said, these people here just, like I said, they got demons on them, man. They out here frustrated. They can't control they anger, and like I say, man, it's just. They gotta know it, They just kind of be mindful, what you do or say around people, man. We in those times, man. The love of men is waxing cold, man. People just, ain't in that, love and happiness spirit. But like I say, you still got people naive that think that, they still, out here playing around, bullshitting, and something happens to them because people just out here not in that, people out here for the most part is not in that spirit of love and happiness. And you still got these niggas out here want to try to celebrate Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, man. Like, man, kill that shit, man. Sick of you got these niggas out here, Negroes out here. Jake still out here pushing that shit, man. Man, cut it out, man. Ain't that time with that bull. Y'all should be done with that shit, man. Man. Like, come on, man. Cut it out, bro. Still promoting that bullshit, but anyway, man. Like, but I'm in off of this. I ain't gonna make this too long. It's Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So I was gonna bring that last scripture out because me myself for foremost, it's about the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans. Like it's gonna do it to the end, and keep their faith on to the end and endure these. I say bad time, the time of tribulations, that we in now going forward. I said, the ones that gonna, keep their faith until the end and endure and keep fighting, and believe until the Lord Yahweh Shai, even if it come down to death. It's the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites. The 2/3 Israelites that didn't believe and keep the faith of the Lord Yahweh Shai is going to perish and be destroyed in these times going forward, and when Lord Yahweh Shai returns. So, with that, they won't make it too long. So again, I like all praise and honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, to the apostle elders, to the sister Ogden brothers, and to the few Aqua sisters. Do listen, keep the faith in Yahushua.